Hey, what's up guys? This is Gus, back with another gameplay commentary. Today we have a Halo 4 gameplay here. Pretty much me kicking ass and taking names as usual. But what I want to do today is I want to get back into talking basketball. It's been a little more than a week actually since I made my last basketball video. Today is Thursday the 6th, so it's going to be Game 1 of the NBA Finals, so I kind of want to get back into things, talk about things a little bit, give you my predictions. So let's get started. Last series we had, let's see, Memphis, we had the Spurs. That series didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I thought Memphis would put up more of a fight. Just didn't happen. Spurs, they were well rested, and I think that has been the key for them this entire playoffs, is that they have not only had, you know, days in between to rest, but they've also made short work of their competition. So with the exception of the Warriors, but even in that series they had plenty of rest, they've pretty much taken care of business, and I think that's definitely helped them. I think that if they were to go through, you know, a long series, 7 games, 6 games, without much rest in between, that would be a major factor, but they've taken care of business, so they've done what they've had to do, and they're in the finals now. So that series didn't go as planned, but Spurs are just playing great right now. They deserve to be in the finals. The Heat, I don't think that they were really challenged at all in any series. I mean, they were playing, what did they play? The Bucks, and then they played a broken down Bulls team, so I was definitely not impressed with what the Heat have been doing. Now the last series, okay, they played Indiana, and Indiana played them tough. Indiana has a solid team, but we have to remember they weren't that great in the regular season. I mean, what did they have, around 40 some wins, maybe low 50s, I don't know, but they weren't world beaters at all, and they gave Miami all they can handle and then some. Blew game 1. They could have definitely put more pressure on the Heat than they did, but they didn't get the job done. And you know what? I thought the refs are going to be more of a factor in this series, and some people might say that they were. I mean, it's not really the quantity of fouls that I usually talk about when it comes to whether a team gets the advantage. When it comes to, you know, the refs kind of screwing a team over, it's more of like, when are the fouls committed? The 50-50 calls, who are they going to? That type of stuff. And I just don't think that that really was a factor in this game. I just thought overall that Indiana does not have that superstar that can take over games. They do it more by committee. They have a pretty good young team, and maybe some of those young guys will develop into those all-stars, those superstars, but for now I just don't think that they had that one star that they can rely on and say, you know what, finish this game off for us, you know. And it cost them. So Miami ended up taking that series in 7 games, blew them out in the final game, and that's that. Miami makes the finals once again. And now let's dive deeper into this series. Who do I think is going to win? Why? That type of stuff. Well, first I want to talk about the Spurs. Spurs, like I've said, they're playing really good basketball right now. I mean, they're hitting their stride. They kind of remind me a lot of the Dallas Mavericks when they won, what was it, 2 years ago against the Heat. I mean, they just hit their stride at the right time, played great basketball when it counted. In the playoffs, in the finals, and I expect that from the Spurs this year. Now, are they going to have what it takes to overtake the Heat? Now that remains to be seen, but right now they're just hitting their stride. Everybody's playing well. Tony Parker's playing really good. Again, they've had, what is it, 9-10 days off? They've had a lot of time off to rest the old dudes, to rest Duncan, and that's the thing. Duncan's an old motherfucker. Let's not make any mistakes about it. He's an old dude, but the thing is, he's been playing his ass off. And another thing about Duncan is it's more than his his athleticism right now. He's a very smart player. He knows how to play the game of basketball, and he gets the most out of his body. He's a team player. He doesn't care about his stats, anything like that. He's all about the team. Tony Parker, same way. He's playing his ass off. And the thing is, 10 years ago or whatever, Tony Parker, his jump shot was weak. Now he's hitting that jumper. He's passing the ball. I mean, I just don't see any weaknesses with that guy. He's going to be tough to handle. For the Heat, we're going to see who they're going to put on that guy, but they're just playing really good right now. They have a good mix of younger guys that get the job done. I've mentioned this in a previous commentary where they just get these guys out of nowhere, these no-name guys where you're like, who the fuck is that? And make them into contributors. And this year's no exception. All the guys, the main dudes are doing what they have to do. The other guys are doing what they have to do. They just have a nice, well-rounded team. They're looking really good right now. Coaching, I don't need to say much about Greg Popovich. The players respect him. He just seems like he's not afraid to get on his guys when they fuck up. No matter who it is. They're just looking really good right now, people. So let's move on to the Heat. I just want to get the coaching stuff out of the way real quick. Erik Spoelstra doesn't really need to be there. I'm sorry, I know there's going to be a lot of Heat fans that might be offended by this, but anyone could coach the Heat right now and they would have the same amount of success. I could pretty much put a suit on, go over there, tell the LeBron go to work, and pretty much be doing the same thing Erik Spoelstra does. He's worthless when it comes to coaching. Not even close. Spurs have the advantage. Now, as far as the rest of the Miami Heat go, we'll see what happens. I mean, their main player right now, it's obvious. It's LeBron James and only LeBron James. That's it. Dwayne Wade, he's beat up. And the thing is, he's been beat up for years. All these people that thought that the Heat were going to win 6, 7 championships, you know what? They might. But with this group of guys, Wade and Bosh, forget about it. Wade's breaking down before our very eyes. He'll be hurt sometime in this series if he isn't already. It's pretty much going to be all about LeBron. You know, is Ray Allen going to be in there and help him win a game or two? That type of stuff. Chris Bosh, he's weak. I mean, he tries to do all this hooting and hollering and shit when he does a decent play, shooting a three-pointer. There's nothing more weak than that, than a big guy shooting jump shots from the fucking three-point line. There's nothing to be fucking hollering about when you do that shit. So, he's whack. Birdman is a joke. I mean, that guy's a scrub, and he's been a scrub on every team that he's been on. Basically, when it comes to Birdman, he's just the guy that's going to pretty much pick up the scraps, get easy dunks. He might get a block shot here and there, but it's like he's not going to... If he's your main guy, you're not going to win, and I don't expect him to be a major factor in this series at all. Now, the other guys on this team, Chalmers, Haslam, if they make contributions, it's going to be tough to beat the Heat. Because LeBron's going to do what he's doing. He's playing really good right now. It seems like he can carry this team, put them on his shoulders, and lead them to victory. But I just think that the Heat haven't really been challenged by a decent team. They just have not beaten a serious team in this whole entire playoff, so they haven't been tested. Whereas the Spurs, on the other hand, have beaten good fucking teams. So I think now the Heat are going to be challenged. And I hate jinxing the Spurs, but I'm going to give this series to the Spurs. I just think that they're the better team. They're the more well-rounded team. They're the better coach team. They have better players. They just know what to do. I think when it comes to the Heat, they rely a lot on their athleticism and talent. And when it comes to the Spurs, they just rely more on not only their talent, but also their team play. You don't know who's going to beat you from one day to the next. It could be a superstar. One day it could be Tony Parker, Ginobili, Tim Duncan, or it could be fucking, what's that dude's name? Kawhi Leonard or shit like that. So, anyway, I'm picking Spurs to win in 6. This is GusCunnilin, and I'm out.